Okay, so this is NBC Learn, a resource that I used for my digital humanities action research project. Just wanted to see how videos engage students and do they enhance student understanding and learning. So NBC Learn has a lot of different stuff. Here's its homepage, and let's go ahead and go to social studies because that's what I used it for. You can see it has a lot of different categories from history, government, economics, and what is right here are just recent videos that have been posted. They can be new footage that they got, or it could just be something current. So let's go to U.S. history, because that is what I taught and used this for, and you'll see a lot of different stuff. So first thing that pops up, U.S. history in general is Civil War's first battle 150 years later. So all of these videos, they're either kind of summaries of an event, they're primary source footage of the actual newscast, or it's something like looking back. So 150 years ago was the Civil War's first battle, and they're kind of taking a look back at this. Let's go to A New Nation. Lots of different stuff on here. French and Indian War, all the way down to expansion, and so American Revolution. Clearly did not have video cameras back then, but they do have a lot of different stuff on here. 55 different videos talking about the Treaty of Paris, the Valley Forge, reenactments, Thomas Paine and Common Sense. So lots of different stuff if you're teaching a class back in the day, like the American Revolution. But let's go to Decades of Change, because that's where I spent all of my time in my units, Cold War and Civil Rights Movement, and the turbulent 1960s. Let's go to Cold War confrontations, and you can just see lots of different things. I did the Tet Offensive 20 years later, just to look back, the Battle of Hue. Lots of other things. You have Vietnam combat footage, presidents talking about it. I did some on the Berlin Wall. I showed both of these videos, the first anniversary and the Berlin Wall being put up, and just did it to summarize the content that we had been talking about, kind of as a closure. And then after, I would ask the students to kind of respond. If I would look at a video, try and come up with a discussion question from it, just see what they would come up with, was one thing I would do. Or if we watched kind of a summary video, I would have them name everything that came up and what it was and how it related, something like that. So those are some videos I used. And I'll show you a specific example of one I used right now and what I did with it. The Troubling Summer of 1963. You can see that its air date was January 1st, 2004. New Year's Day. Interesting. And here's the video. Lots of different stuff.
NBC News special.
And this is a summary using NBC footage from 1963. So you have a voiceover of old footage.
Recounted the scenes that unfolded in Birmingham.
The violent outburst came during the final days of a 5-week-long campaign.
And in the back is the 16th Street Baptist Church that was bombed. We talked about that in class, and in every class there was always a student who was able to recognize that in the background. Just thought that was kind of cool. So what I did with this video is we had a civil rights project where they created a tour guide, and in the tour guide they had to write about the 7 major civil rights events we talked about and then draw a picture. And so I showed a lot of different videos of the events, and I told them to use an image or an idea from the videos to create their illustration. So I saw lots of pictures of the first thing we saw, the fire hoses being sprayed and the attack dogs, and lots of other things. So different ways to use NBC Learn videos. whether to summarize, start discussions, or use as primary sources. Let's get out of there. And let me show you something that is pretty cool. State standards up here. New window pops up. Virginia standards, why not? That's where we are. Subject, social studies. Grade, even though I taught 6th, this is listed, I taught 7th, it's listed as 6th. So let's go ahead and search that. Here's what pops up. The standards we all have grown to love and memorized in our certain classes, are all here, from geography and skills down to the 50s to the present era of lots of random stuff. And then there's a check mark. Let's take a look at that check mark, see what it has. Eventually. Okay. 1,138 videos about American foreign policy, immigration, the global environment, and other emerging issues since 1950. So this has a lot of different stuff. Over 1,000 videos. How could you possibly just look at everything and figure out what you want to do? Something I would suggest doing is just doing a search. So we talked about 9/11 today, so I would just do September, or let's see if 11 comes up a lot. And yeah, lots of different stuff talking about 9/11. So I would search that way because there is a lot of footage on here, and it can become a bit overwhelming. So I would usually stick to the browsing, and it would already have it by subject. But also doing it by standard gives you a lot more options. It's just being able to search through all the material. Do you have the time? You just really want to find the video that is going to work for you the best. And so that is NBC Learn. It's something I've enjoyed working with. Student reaction has been, I would say, positive, but not overwhelmingly positive. They like watching videos, like the significance. When we did current events, I would always show a video, and they liked that. Using older videos, maybe because it was black and white, sometimes it would lose their interest. It wasn't as flashy and engaging, but it's important because they're just different types of primary sources. Being able to expose them to primary sources beyond documents, I think, is really important, and this is one way to do so. For the most part, my use of video in the classroom has been positive, and this is just another resource. So that's NBC Learn.